Good morning. Please join us in our welcoming song.
Welcome to Chalice Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are a community of diverse beliefs and experiences, and we nurture the liberal religious spirit and are united by our desire to grow in love and in service. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your life journey, you are welcome here. Whether you gather with us every Sunday, once or twice a year, or if this is your very first visit with us, we are super happy to have you. My name's Jessica Schultz, and I'll be the worship associate today. Our service is led by our minister, the Reverend Sharon Wylie. Our service musician this morning is John Schultz, and our on the last spur of the moment song leader is Laura Brown. Thank you, Laura. Our sound and video engineer is Jake Diock, and our greeters are Ralph Peters and Debbie Ressler. Welcome to our Sunday worship service, and welcome to those of you here in the chapel, as well as those of you joining us from many places in the world via Zoom. For those of us who are here in the chapel, if you're sitting in a row that's not full, looks like they're mostly full. I think we're almost full. Thank you for moving towards the windows. We really appreciate it. We don't want it hard for people coming in late to find a seat. As a reminder, feel free to wear masks or step outside as needed for your comfort. You can hear what's happening inside when you are outside on the courtyard. We are always happy to welcome newcomers, and if you're new, you can learn about our groups and activities through our weekly email updates and our monthly newsletter. Online guests will receive an invitation to join the list afterwards, after the service. An in-person guest, if you haven't already, please share your email at the greeter table before you leave. Believe me, it's the best way to stay connected with all the things that are happening here at Chalice. And now, let's take a breath together. As we settle our souls into worship, we acknowledge Indigenous peoples with these words from Robin Wall Kimmerer, a citizen of the Potawatomi Nation and the author of Braiding Sweetgrass, Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teaching of Plants. We Americans are reluctant to learn a foreign language of our own species, let alone another species. But imagine the possibilities. Imagine the access we would have to different perspectives, the things we might see through other eyes, the wisdom that surrounds us. We don't have to figure out everything by ourselves. There are intelligences other than our own, teachers all around us. Imagine how much less lonely the world would be. And now we light our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. I'd like to invite Phil Davis forward to light the chalice for us this morning. Our chalice lighting words come from UU minister, writer, and activist, Reverend Leslie Takahashi. All that we have ever loved and all that we have ever been stands with us on the brink of all that we aspire to create. A deeper peace, a larger love, a more embracing hope, a deeper joy in this life we share.
The words of our call to worship come from UU lay leader Heide Kadam. Let us be a faith that gathers, reaching for one another through the walls of hate others build, through the cages of ignorance and arrogance, and through the fear that burns city streets. Let us be a faith that sees a vision of a better world, more compassionate, more just, more holy, and with more love. There is a faith that binds up the broken, cauterizes battle wounds with the balm of peace, sings longer and louder than the trumpets of war. Let us be that faith too. Let us be the ones who do not tread lightly in this world, but light it up with our love, who hold up the mirror of worth and dignity, who are the sanctuary others seek. But first, let us be a faith that worships together. Here, this morning, in this time, at this moment, let us be a faith. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be.
Our hymn of the month for March is We Will Carry Each Other, a new hymn from our virtual hymnal. We are singing this hymn every Sunday this month to help us get to know the hymn a little better and feel more comfortable singing it. So please rise in body or spirit to join in singing, and John will play it through once.
Our Sunday worship is the shared spiritual practice of our community, and we tend to the congregation during this time by sharing and honoring our joys and sorrows. Here in the chapel, you are welcome to write your joy or sorrow onto a candle card, which will be collected from you. Online, please write your joy or sorrow, including your name, into the chat box. Just so you know, these joys and sorrows will be spoken out loud, and then we will remove this part of the service from the recording that goes on to our YouTube channel. So this sharing won't be publicly available online. If you'd like to send Reverend Sharon a confidential note about your joy or sorrow, or to make a prayer request, please email her. Her email address will be on the screen in just a moment. Please enjoy some music while you write down what you'd like to share, so that in sharing, your burden is lessened and your joy is multiplied.
to sing that like 10 more minutes. We light our first candle for all that is broken and hurting in our world. We'll light our final pillar candle for all the joys and sorrows in the room and in our community that go unshared and unspoken. These two are held in the love and support of our community. Now I'd like to invite the children and anyone else who would like to come up for the story. Our story is called Little Sid, the Tiny Prince Who Became Buddha, written by Ian Lendler and illustrated by Zante Bauma. This is Sid. Hello! Sid was a normal kid like you and me, except for one thing. His father was a king, so Sid was a little lord. The life of a little lord is good. Very, very good. But it's also busy. I want to wait for my parents. Very, very busy. They couldn't make it. They had to be somewhere else. Oh. From the moment he was born, the king and queen gave Sid anything that made him happy. He was surrounded by fun every moment of the day. From the moment he woke up, hooray, the little lord is awake, let the fun begin. What shall we play today? I'm just going to read a book, okay? To the moment he went to bed. Your parents couldn't be here, so they sent us to read you a bedtime story. I'll read you 20 more nightlight, sire. There was just one problem. Little Sid wasn't happy. He tried to talk with his parents during breakfast. Mom, Dad, why am I unhappy? But they were always busy, and they always said the same thing. Not now, son. We need to be somewhere. Have a stuffed animal. That will cheer you up. Sid decided he couldn't find happiness in the castle, but maybe he could find it somewhere else. So he left the castle. He went to look for happiness. Out in the world, little Sid walked to the nearest village. He walked from house to house. Excuse me, do you know where I can find happiness? Beats me, kid. They say 3 wise ones live on that mountain. Ask them. So little Sid kept walking. Happiness was going to be harder to find than he thought. He walked up the mountain of the 3 wise ones. He soon came to a stream where a sleepy-looking man was fishing. Excuse me, are you a wise man? I'm searching for happiness. Why? Because I'm unhappy. That will pass. Then the fisherman began to snore. So little Sid kept on walking. He thought the 3 wise ones must be farther up the mountain. Up and up he walked until a mighty river blocked his path. On the other side, he saw a woman in a tree. Excuse me, are you a wise woman? I'm searching for happiness. How do I get to the other side? The tree woman looked at the river. Then she said, You are already on the other side. Little Sid thought that was the dumbest thing he'd ever heard. But he thought about it some more. Or is it the wisest? Maybe I'm on the wrong mountain. Finally, he said, Is there someone else I can talk to? Suddenly, a tiger leapt out of the forest and charged at little Sid. So little Sid ran. He ran and ran until he ran off a cliff. Ah! Fortunately, he grabbed a vine and hung on. Unfortunately, a mouse appeared and began to nibble the vine. But the mouse wouldn't shoo. The vine was about to break. Little Sid was going to die. That's when he noticed a strawberry growing on the vine. Since this might be the last meal of his life, he took a bite. Then the mouse spoke. It said, "How does it taste?" Without thinking, little Sid said, "Delicious." A fishing line appeared in front of Sid. He grabbed the hook and it pulled him to safety. "Did you find what you were looking for?" "Yes, I'm happy now." "That too will pass." When Sid walked off down the mountain, something about him seemed different. He thought different. "Follow me, bring everything." He acted different. He was different. "I'll trade you all of these things for your saw." That evening at dinner, little Sid decided to make some changes. "Hello, son. Not a good time. We need to be somewhere else in a minute." Something wrong, Sid? Would you like a new toy?" "No, I want nothing." "Nothing?" "No things. Just be here now."
As the children leave for classes, we joined in singing. We hold you in our love as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life, we hold you in our love as you go.
It's always so much fun watching the kids' faces while they're listening to the story. They really get into it. This story comes from the book The Art of Happiness in a Troubled World by Howard Cutler in conversation with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. One morning, two men were driving to a very important business meeting, and they were running really late. On the way to the meeting, they got a flat tire. Needless to say, the passenger got really upset about this, but he noticed that the driver remained completely calm and undisturbed by the situation and immediately just set about changing the tire. As they were changing the tire, the passenger became more and more agitated each minute, but the driver just kept working, still totally unflustered. So finally, the passenger couldn't help but ask, "We are going to be so late. How can you be so calm about this?" And almost cheerfully, the driver answered, "This is number 3. Unsatisfied, of course, the passenger asked him to explain, and the driver said, "Many years ago, when I first started to drive, I read a statistic giving the average number of flat tires that motorists will have during their driving lives. So right then, I just decided to expect my fair share of flat tires, which, by the way, still has not reached the average. At the same time, I realized that no matter when or where I got my blowouts, I could be sure that when it happened, it would never be convenient. I figured that was just part of the normal cost of having the convenience of driving, like paying for gas or oil. So this is just one of my fair share of flats. That's all."
In a recent internet search for something or other, I don't remember what, I came across a book titled The Art of Happiness in a Troubled World, written by, of all people, the Dalai Lama. About books. You know that feeling, that excitement, when you discover there's a book that appears to be about the very topic you are most interested in, the very puzzle you've been struggling with for years. I felt electrified. The Art of Happiness in a Troubled World, written by someone who really, really understands how troubled the world can be. I couldn't wait to get my hands on it. Fortunately, I was able to get it quickly from my local library. The cover told me plainly what I had not known. This book is the sequel to the #1 bestseller, The Art of Happiness. That first book came out in 1998 and was on the New York Times bestseller list for almost 2 years. So this second book was published almost 10 years later, and both books are co-authored with an American psychiatrist named Howard Cutler. So let me pause for a moment in my story and make sure that we all know who is the Dalai Lama. He's the spiritual leader of the Tibetan people and is traditionally associated with the Gelug school of Tibetan Buddhism. Tibet is governed by China amid ongoing conflict with the Tibetan independence movement. And as a result of this political conflict, the 14th Dalai Lama, who co-authored these books on happiness, the 14th Dalai Lama lives in exile from Tibet in India. For many Tibetans, both in Tibet and in exile, the Dalai Lama remains an important symbol of Tibetan religious identity and cultural continuity. He's a highly respected global religious leader. These days, he is 90 years old and maintains a more limited public presence than in his younger days. So he was 63 years old when The Art of Happiness hit the bestseller list, and he was 74 when The Art of Happiness in a Troubled World came out. So these books are from a different time, although there's definitely a timeless quality to them. So I'm not going to pretend I read the whole book. We are living in troubled times, and I turn directly to chapter 10, Coping with a Troubled World. I was absolutely ready for the perspective on a troubled world from a man living in exile from his home country. So here it is in his words. The world does have many problems, but one does not need to withdraw from the world to find happiness. An interviewer once asked me if I thought that stress was a congenital characteristic of the modern world, of modern society. I told him no. In fact, if that were true, then we'd all have to run to a place without TV, without communications, without any modern conveniences, and without such good food. To me, this is still the Dalai Lama speaking, wherever such a place might be, I don't think that would necessarily be a pleasant, stress-free place to live. So states like stress and anxiety are internal states, whereas the conditions of our society are external. They don't directly create our stress. He goes on, stress and these negative mental states have to do with our own response to these conditions and show a certain lack of ability to cope with our environment. Well, a certain lack of ability to cope with our environment was rough to read. How dare he, right? But I also appreciate plain speaking, and that phrase has stayed with me. And his appreciating good food and not wanting to live somewhere without TV and communications is pretty endearing, I thought. He doesn't seem out of touch with the world. In fact, he seems to appreciate the modern world. So what I hear him saying clearly, we can cultivate an inner peace that is independent from the external conditions of society or the world. I was reading this about a month ago, just about the same time that the Buddhist monks doing the Walk for Peace were coming to the close of their 109-day, 2,300-mile journey, walking from Fort Worth, Texas to Washington, D.C. It seemed to me the monks were embodying this idea of an inner peace that is separate from external conditions. During that journey they called a walk for peace, they experienced a car accident, and one monk had his leg amputated as a result. Their feet were tended by medics each evening. They walked through snowstorms. Their beloved dog had surgery. The lead monk sat out from the walk for a couple of days to receive medical care to restore his strength. They walked an average of 21 miles a day for 109 days. Can you imagine? And they did it to bring a message of peace to our divided and hurting country. The teachings they offered multiple times a day were consistent: how to cultivate a sense of inner peace no matter what is happening. But don't imagine that their message of peace means they aren't paying attention to politics or that they don't care what is happening in the world. In the last few days of their journey, they attended a question and answer session at Washington National Cathedral, where the first question they were asked was this: how do we reconcile the belief that we must be still, we must be at peace, with our duty to act in the name of justice? The lead monk, Bhikkhu Panakara, called on a senior monk to come forward to answer the question. Forgive me that I couldn't find his name, but he did tell us he is 81 years old. He answered, "In the situation we are facing in this country and around the world, inner peace is certainly an essential requirement, but we also need justice, because what we see taking place in this country right now is a reign of terror. So it seems that we have to balance this inner peace with what I call," this is the monk speaking, "a strong commitment to conscientious compassion. That is, compassion inspired by the sense of conscience and responsibility for the welfare of all our fellow citizens, all the residents of this country, and indeed, a universal compassion for all sentient beings around the world. So we have to combine the quest for inner peace with this conscientious commitment and compassion to ensure justice and to promote the well-being, safety, and security of people who are in trouble and in danger." End quote. Part of the power of the Walk for Peace is that the message was not explicitly political. But don't ever imagine that Buddhist leaders, including the Dalai Lama, are disengaged from the work of justice making. In fact, I don't think they would be walking for peace in the first place if they were not fully committed to justice making. Both the Dalai Lama and the monks insist that inner peace is not escape from the world. It is preparation for engaging the world wisely. So how do we cultivate this inner peace? The Dalai Lama and the monks walking for peace offer us some different strategies to try from very different perspectives. The Dalai Lama is a big picture thinker. He has many ideas worth our time and attention, but one of his main teachings is the importance of what he calls the realistic outlook. The realistic outlook invites us to see that our problems are not unsolvable, that the world is not worse than it's ever been, and that our shared humanity is important and important for us to keep in touch with. This isn't meant to be a false positivity, but a realistic, grounded, big picture view of the world and the times we're in. As his co-author observes, some people are good, some people are bad. Most people are a mix of good and bad. We heard that realistic approach in the story of the car with the flat tire. If you expect to get flat tires, and you know they will always be inconvenient, your perspective on how to cope with a flat tire changes. We also heard this approach in Arvid's sermon last week. Nobody leaves here without singing the blues. We can see our times of struggle and even unhappiness as an expected part of being alive. If the Dalai Lama offers a big picture view, then the monks walking for peace offer us teachings for day-to-day living. Almost every day, the monks offered teaching at their rest stops, centered on a single practical discipline: deliberately cultivating peace through daily mindfulness and intentional practice. The lead monk, Bhikkhu Panakara, argues that peace is not abstract or political, but personal and trainable. A core practice he emphasizes is writing every morning the sentence, "Today is going to be my peaceful day." He insists this must be written by hand, read visually, and then spoken aloud. He describes the physical act of writing, seeing, and hearing the words as a powerful form of mindfulness and meditation. You can imagine that practice of giving your full attention to that phrase. Simply thinking the phrase is not enough. The coordinated engagement of body and mind strengthens intention and reinforces awareness throughout the day. He also spoke often against multitasking and constant distraction, particularly dependence on smartphones, which he humorously calls lovers. Do not reach for your lover when you first wake up. Anytime you touch your phone, he says, the mind wanders. He taught, divided attention weakens concentration and reinforces mental agitation, the opposite of inner peace, right? True practice requires doing one thing at a time, eating without screens, listening without texting, activity without constant commentary. Silence and focus retrain the mind. This sermon isn't part of my series on digital distraction, but I was kind of thrilled to notice the monk's emphasis on disrupting our relationship with our devices. I'm not the only one who thinks this is a critical spiritual issue of our times. This is kind of an aside, but I want to share one of the most powerful things I heard Bhikkhu Panakara say is this. And he said this while someone at the edge of the crowd had a megaphone and was shouting at them. Toxic people are out there. When you react to them, they love it. Wow. There's an explanation for the whole internet. If there's one thing you take from this morning's sermon, I hope it's that Buddhists are not afraid to tell it like it is. From the Dalai Lama, stress and these negative mental states have to do with our own response to these conditions and show a certain lack of ability to cope with our environment. From Bhikkhu Panakara, stay away from your lover, the phone, as much as possible. True practice requires doing one thing at a time. Silence and focus retrain the mind. And so this is our task, to cultivate an inner peace that is independent from the external conditions of society. What an incredible opportunity we have to celebrate, cultivate this inner peace precisely because we are living through such unsettling times. Because here is the critical part. We need all our resources and resilience to meet the challenges of our times. We need our inner peace. We need joyful times with friends. We need the connection and support of community. We need to put down our phones and look our neighbors in the eye. Yes, there will be times of despair and overwhelm, but we can face the coming years together, and we can grow stronger in the process. Put down your phone. Affirm that today will be your peaceful day. Keep a realistic outlook, and keep working at it day after day. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be.
Please rise and body your spirit to sing hymn number 1031, Filled with Loving Kindness, from the Teal Hymnal. Please be seated.
The Sunday offering is an expression of the generosity that makes our congregational life possible. Generosity is the most natural outward expression of an inner attitude of compassion and loving kindness. This is from the 14th Dalai Lama, the current one. We encourage you to text your donation to Chalice. If you haven't texted a donation before, once you text the amount, you'll get a reply with a link to enter your card information. If your Sunday donation is meant to be part of your pledge payment, please be sure to indicate pledge after the dollar amount. The phone number for text donations will be on the screen in a moment. If you prefer to make an in-person donation of cash or check, there are envelopes and a donation box up there by the double doors, and you can leave those after the service. Please join in affirming the spirit of generosity that guides our communal life.
At Chalice,
Congregation, love is at the center of everything we do.
Well, good morning. And good morning, Jake. Thank you. I'm going to play a song for you now that I wrote actually quite a while ago. I wrote it maybe over 15, maybe 17 years ago, and it seemed right for this service. It was at a time when I was extremely busy in life, a lot of work, and family commitments, and I was just at my wit's end. And it turns out, I went back through some records. I have never played this song for anybody. I actually played it for Jessica the first time yesterday. So, actually, I wrote this song for myself, and I will admit to tweaking a couple words for today's service, but not many. All right, so it's called "Let Peace Come In." And hoping my voice will come in too. You run when day is dawning, you run when night is nigh. Seems you're running from yourself, not even sure the reason why. Your life's not made of silver, so your time cannot be spent. Don't cloud your mind with dreams of discontent. Let peace come in. Let peace come in. Let it flow through your heart, then let it flow through mine. Let peace come in. Let peace come in. Let it heal your heart, then please let it heal mine. There's a time to show compassion. There's a time for showing strength. There's a time for speaking truth to power and to say just what you think. But there's also time for silence and a time for letting go. And if we don't try now, how will we ever know? Let peace come in. Let peace come in. Let it flow through your heart, then let it flow through mine. Let peace come in. Let peace come in. Let it heal your heart, then please let it heal mine. Don't be anxious for the future, 'cause it hasn't happened yet. Don't you live your life in the past. Let go of your regret. Take a breath and find your center. It's always there for you. Let your body go, it knows just what to do. Let peace come in. Let peace come in. Let it flow through your heart, then let it flow through mine. Let peace come in. Let peace come in. Let it heal your heart, then please let it heal mine. Let peace come in. Let peace come in. Please join me. Let peace come in. 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 Let peace come in.
Our prayer comes from the Reverend Lara Cowton. Will you join me? Spirit of compassion, source of life, God of many names, we gather today in gratitude for our many blessings, for being in community, for the tender mercies of our lives. We also ache with grief, concern, and anger about the terrible violence in the world and the human capacity to inflict harm on one another. We seek solace in our seeming powerlessness. We hold in our embrace those hiding in shelters and mourning the deaths of loved ones, the tattered fabric of their lives. We pray for those with power to create peace, that they may recognize the fragile and valuable humanity of those across from them and see how we are all one. Holy Spirit of mercy, may all who seek comfort and safety find themselves in a place with no fear or hatred. And may all who suffer in pain or in anger be held in gentle, loving care to ease and heal their wounds. As we seek to build the beloved community, may we ever be guided by our faith in the ability of love to conquer injustice and in our ability to love beyond belief. May it be so. Amen.
Please rise in body or spirit to sing This Boat from our virtual hymnal. Okay. This boat is steady, this boat is
closing words come from the traditional Quaker song, My Life Flows On, an Endless Song by John C. Morgan. In the river, the water continually flows on, yet the river is ever there. Our lives flow on in endless song, yet life and joy shall never end. Love and blessings to each of you. You are invited to close our time together by singing the well, and after the closing hymn, we'll please return to your seats for announcements.
Please rise and body your spirit to sing the well. We drink from the well together, the water that quenches my thirst, a thirst for justice, a thirst for joy, a thirst for a love that we're all a part of. We drink from the well. We drink from the well together. Hand in hand we are standing as one, standing for justice, standing for joy, stand for a love that we're all a part of. We drink from the well. Open the doors to the world outside, spirits renewed from within. Look for the dream in each other's eyes, the spark where a new world begins. Yes, we drink from the well together. Heart to heart we are dancing as one, dancing for justice, dancing for joy, dance for a love that we're all a part of. We drink from the well, spirits renewed. We drink from the well, stand hand in hand. We drink from the well, dancing for joy. I feel my heart swell. We drink from the
All right. Today begins round 2 of our March Madness voting. If you're new to Chalice, we have fun in March voting for animals to help lift our spirits in troubling times. So we're voting on our favorite native dweller in San Diego County. So this has included flora and fauna. So we're down to the Sweet 16. So you're voting on 8 pairs. The link you get in emails, it's always the same. So I'll send an update, an email this afternoon to remind you, but it's always the same link. So when you head outside, there are flyers about March Madness with a QR code. They're on the rolling board outside and on doors on each of the building. This is a good place if you have any trouble with the voting form. You could ask a friend to help you and you could vote on their phone. You can grab your kids. Children's votes are weighted 3 times, so make sure to help your children and grandchildren vote. So yeah, and be sure to be here for our March 22nd multi-gen service on March Madness, where we will conclude our voting and announce the winner. So I have to tell you, Monarch Butterfly was knocked out by Ringtail. I know. That was the closest vote. The not closest vote had the gnatcatcher winning, because that is the most adorable photo of a little bird ever taken. So I feel like this may be the year that a bird wins our March Madness. So vote early. An announcement for some of you. So in one sense, you are all friends of Chalice, but in another sense, our bylaws define friends as non-members who pledge. So we sent members and friends an email yesterday letting you know that we're doing directory confirmations of your address, phone number, and email in person. This is part of increased security measures protecting our directory from fraudulent attempts to obtain our directory. So Callie Leaf and Wendy Metzger have clipboards. They're going to be checking with you so you can look over your contact information and affirm that it is correct. And then in June, we will hand out hard copies of the directory to members and friends. So be sure to be friendly to Wendy and Callie when they come up to you with their clipboards. And I don't know if you're supposed to find them at a table or if they're going to find you. We haven't figured that out. We're going to be doing this through March, but the sooner we get through it, like, the better, right? Okay.
Our social hour will begin in a few minutes online at this same link and in person on our courtyard. Those of you who are here in person might want to bring your refreshments into the green room and visit with our online folks. Reverend Sharon and I look forward to greeting you at the chapel doors to hear how the service was meaningful for you. Go in peace and joy.